time. We are live. Let's go. Okay. Good to be back, guys. I don't know. I am back again, trying to do something. Let's hopefully fix all of this mess that we have. Don't really have much in mind, and it's really late in the night. But let's try to have fun and yeah, let's do that. So in the last stream we implemented a chat system, and I didn't really explain what the game is about, and I probably might explain later. The goal of the stream is to just chill because I'm pretty tired today and I just wanted to code a little bit. So I'm back streaming finally after a long time, and let's have fun. So I yapped about how bad my code was the last time, and you can probably see why, because we have a lot of stuff going on here that is not up to the mark, and we have some things that are good to have, like the game manager, the scene manager, like the manager things. Then we have our own debug script, and it does nothing, to be honest. I mean, it does show some data on the screen, but it's not that useful. We are going to change some parts of this, and also make it a little bit better with respect to like not having bugs. So we're gonna fix that. Also, there is one bug related to tender scale which I have to fix. Not much change in this class. Okay, what is this? You do have some error here. I don't know why, but let's see. No, it's been a long time and I have not seen the architecture myself. I mean the code myself. So let's see. We start with the main.py. In the main.py we have the main function, and we are creating the game manager first, and we have the game loop extracted inside the game manager. So let's go into the game loop. Okay, and the mess starts from here. because we have everything inside this. So basically it's just like the main.py. Like if I copy this into main.py, it would be the exact same thing. So we haven't really abstracted anything. So that has to be fixed. So I'm trying to assess what all stuff I have to fix. Uh, so let's see. We are importing all of these libraries. So we start with the debug first, and we have a debug panel here, and also import the config colors scene manager from scene manager. So we get the scene manager as well. Now this is a good thing, like the manager always handles managers, right? It is the main manager. So okay, then from globals import globals. Now this is one thing in this entire architecture which I don't really like. So if we go into globals, we have a global clock, and we have reference that inside. Also we have the delta time, and the delta time is not a float here, which is correct. And we have a class method. On update, we update both of these variables. So let's go one step back, and then we have the menu scene. Now important thing to note here is that we don't have the game scene here. Okay, we don't have it, and I don't know why I have the menu scene, but let's see. So what I tried to do here was probably make this entire class as a singleton class. So instance is equals to none. Whenever we create a new instance of this class, we set the class instance to we check for the class instance if it's none or not. If it is none, we create a new instance, or else we return this instance itself. So we will only have one game manager, so that's correct. Okay, that's somewhat correct. Then def init, and here is the main stuff. Okay, here we are getting into the meat of the program. So start with initializing pygame. Okay, why haven't I formatted this, by the way? There are no matching language servers. We do have pywrite and pylint. Come on. Okay. Anyway, so pygame.init, pygame.font.init. Then we initialize the display surface, and it's set to full screen, by the way. And we set the caption. Then we create the debug panel for some reason. Okay, so the debug panel is there because we need it everywhere. So this must be a singleton instance as well. So this is not a singleton instance. We have to work on that. So let's just write that down. Make singleton. Okay. Then we have the scene manager, and we initialize it with this menu scene. Okay. Now the scene manager is another thing which I don't really like. So this is the main specification of the scene class, and in the scene we have this hard dependency, which is the display surface. So we should actually remove it, and we try to make the singleton instance for the scene manager, which is a good thing. I don't know why we have this. No reason to have that. Then again, we don't need to pass display surface again and again. We can have a global instance of it, or we can just retrieve it once. There are functions for it, like PyGame gives the function for that. And we have this init function self start scene takes a scene. Okay, and start scene is initialized with this display surface. We are getting some errors here, and we are passing this class inside directly. Okay. Self currency is equals to start scene. Can we give type hints here? No, we can. By the way, there are no type hints anywhere in this code, so that's a bad practice, but we should give type hints inside. Also, there is no error management, so we have to fix that as well. There is so much going on together. What should we do for this? Let's come back later here. After all of this, we mentioned cellular running equals to. I think we should create a function for PyGame, right? Initialize PyGame. And let's put all of the PyGame specific thing inside here. And let's call the self.initialize PyGame, so that we initialize this thing right here. And then we can do all of this later. So this is create a debug panel instance, and I should call it debug manager, to be honest. Manager, and they should deal with the debug panel. So let's make this the manager. And let's rename this to debug manager.py for now. And let's also rename this debug manager for now. Okay, I cannot GD inside. Can I now? Okay, I can now do that. So let's just make another function, initialize managers, and then we can put both of this inside and put this in the top. That's much better. Scene manager takes this menu scene. It should not do this, it should start with that itself. So that's a bad thing. So we should start with the scene inside the scene manager. Okay, and we'll do something about it. Let's just deal with it for now. Okay, so from menu.scene input menu scene, when we create or initialize, we start with the menu scene. Okay, and let's keep it and like there for now. Also, let's go here and make it single turn like that. Like, let's just put this here. So we have this looking pretty neat, like it's very clean now, right? Game loop has all of this event stuff, which I don't really like, which is being handled here. So first of all, wait, just keep it like this one. Okay, so we have the game loop. Oh, what the heck? Why? Okay, much better. That's why you don't play music on YouTube like that. That's why you don't play music. Do we have anyone on YouTube? No. Okay, we are back. So we don't use this here as well, right? Or we do use here. Self.display surface.fill colors.clear color. I mean, we have to extract this because clearly we don't want events like this, right? Let me think. I'll set down running globals dot update. So we update this right here for e and globals dot events. If e dot type, wait, what? So we get the events from here. Okay. And after that, we do this. Okay, if e dot type is equals to pygame dot quit, self dot running equals false. Or we can say dot type is equals to pygame dot k underscore escape. So for testing our game, we can just do the escape part, right? Should we just call it init instead? Too big of a name. I'm not sure of this. You also have to create an event manager class which manages all of the events for the game. Like something like this. Something like this. Also, let's group everything nicely. I'm not a fan of this as well. Down the road, we will need something like an import manager as well. So, event input. And then we call update in this. So what I'm thinking of is that we can push events into this event manager, and all of the inputs which we can map, we can use the input manager for that. So these are our main systems. We got an error somewhere. Cannot import scene from scene manager. Game manager, input game manager from scene manager. Input scene manager, menu dot scene, input menu scene. From scene manager, input scene manager. That's in scene. What? Menu scene dot py. Minic.py has also, it's like a circular import. Damn, what the hell is wrong with this code base? We probably don't need that. Or should I just put this in global itself? What, let's for now mention something like this. Game dot get what is that function? Oh, pygame dot display dot get surface. Pygame dot display dot get surface. Then all of this. Equivalent int. Also, it's the same in game scene as well, right? The same. Oh, we should not pass this here as well. Actually, it's better to have a global and then pass it inside. Right? So where we need it at source, we can just use a global variable. But for now, we can do this. Display dot get surface. Here as well. And I should have copied that so that I don't have to type that again. Okay. Actually, let's copy this entire line itself. Okay. Oh, so we have to remove it from here because you have to put it at source. My God. We are going to clean everything, okay? Also for GUI, we have to create like different components, reusable components which we can use later. Okay, that will take quite some time. No need for that. Circular import part. Scene manager imports scene, and then we are using it like this. And then for that we are using scene manager. Wait, we had the problem from game manager, right? That's why you should give like make the game from top down and not bottom up. Because if you start from small features first and then build the main component, like the main containers for the small components, it's really going to be difficult for you to handle the latter part, right? So we don't have all of this, so I just say class event manager and pass it for now. Okay, let's copy this and go to the input manager and paste that here. Okay, so we should not have errors here now. What? Oh, I cannot GD. Yes, it will go away on its own. Clear the screen for an extender and then update the current scene. So this is nice. Right, scene manager dot current scene dot update, and I think it should play the same way. I like how we are doing here. And debug manager dot update. The debug manager contains it contains the debug panel, right? So I think per scene we should show that panel, or in that scene only we should render this debug panel which shows the data from the debug manager, because we should not put that here. Like the debug panel should not be inside this game manager. So we have to keep what we have here, right? We have to think something about this. Also, if there is a way, I should probably put this specific data into the globals as well. Okay, so there is this thing called data classes in Python, and it's used to just store things. They were introduced in 3.7 that reduced boilerplate when writing classes whose main job is to just store data. They automatically generate common methods like init, REPR, this string equivalent, EQ, optionally ordering methods. Without data classes, with data classes. From data classes, import data class, and then we can do this. Then p1 is equals to 0.12 90 field frozen data classes or immutable data class config. Also, I should make my config as a data class as well. That would be better. Like instead of having config like this, we should probably make it a data class, right? Now, as a matter of fact, I haven't written data classes before because I usually deal with Jupyter notebooks and Colab notebooks, and straight away, a script-based pipeline, like different scripts running one after each other. So I don't really use data classes. It's not that I don't like data classes, but I haven't used it. So let's try and use it in this project, okay? I'm trying to learn it now. Basically got a settings module made of constant data classes. Fit really nicely here. Thank you, ChatGPT. I like that. Okay, it's not me vibe coding. Okay, I'm trying to learn things. So from data classes, import data class. I'll try to write and then I'll internalize all of the stuff that I'm saying. So from what? Why is this not being colored? From data classes, input data class. So this is the data classes lib. Okay, then we can create a class called game settings, and let's give it a data class. Okay, inside that I can do this, make this as win title, max frame rate, and draw debug. Okay, and we're going to make this somewhat like this, and then specify its type. So this is going to be a tuple, and it's going to be int equals this. Okay, similarly this is going to be a star or a string. This is going to be an integer, and this is going to be a boolean. So bool equals true. Okay, So this is how we created it at last. So let's do it with the world settings as well. Okay, let's delete this and then this world in pix unit render scale and scale. What was that? Scale pix unit. Scale pix unit. This is a tuple of int. This is an integer. This is also an integer. Or this can also be a float. So I'm just going to keep it as a float. Okay. And this is going to be the combination of both. So scale pix unit should be a derived value. There is this dunder method called post init, and inside that we compute its value. So post init self.scale pix unit is equals to this. So for now, this is just going to be specified as an integer with a field is equals to field init equals to false. Okay, and import field from here. After this, we specify a method called post init, and this is going to be self dot scale pix. What happened to my LSP? Unit. Can't really type it. It's really dark here. Self dot pix unit what unit into self dot render scale why is that red? Your data log is frozen or your type checker is strict. This line is fine because scale pix unit is not with init false and our class is treated as immutable. Direct assignment in this looks illegal to the checker. Object.set attribute inside post init should do the job. It seems like a really hacky way workaround because we are dealing literally with the object. Why make it so difficult to just initialize this one simple thing? Like this is what you have to do. Okay, object dot set attribute. Okay. Oh, also there is no space between this. Okay, and inside this there is self, and the name of the variable is basically this thing. Okay, inside like a string. Also, we have to mention this. This is a really hacky workaround, and I don't like that. Anyway, after this, we have to deal with font settings. Okay, so let's just keep a note of this. Okay, and I'll just say to do fix later. Okay, and I'm definitely going to come here and fix later. It's not a joke. Then we have this data class for font settings. So class again font settings, right? Font, this is going to be a string, and we are going to grab the font from there, after which we have the scale name tag font size. Scaled name tag font size. Okay, and this is going to be an integer and somewhat like this, what we did earlier here with the scale pix unit. And like this, I'm going to copy this and paste it here. Remove this, put it like that. And then scale name tag font size. Init render scale as a int render scale into 16. So 16 is the base font size. Base font size. Okay, and let's keep this int as 16. Okay, and let's also state a render scale for this, and let's keep it 1 for now. Also, this should be a float. Okay, actually let's just make an integer again. So there's no need to make it like cast it as an integer again. So this is going to be base font size into render scale prepended with self. So we have all of these settings, and then we also can make this something like this, and then we can put all of the data inside here. So first of all, let's put it into like in the beginning. Okay, and put this data class everywhere. Great. So now I'm keeping these settings in the top so that I can see everything like what this file has. So first we want game settings. Game settings. Okay. is equals to field. This is going to be a default factory, and this is going to be game settings. Again, this is going to be world settings. This is going to be font settings. Or should I just call it font and world and game? This is much better. Right, this is going to be world and this is going to be font. Okay. So we have this created. But now how should I use this? That's a valid question. And for that we have to create a settings object, and then it's going to populate with this default factory class. So let's save this, and we have to create this settings somewhere. The best fit for this is the game manager. But I really don't want to put settings like that here. One more thing which we can do is use like global. You can put it in globals or something, or like here. This entire thing. Also, I forgot to do one thing. I forgot to make this data classes frozen because we don't want to edit anything, right? Frozen equals to, and that what? Why is this working now? Okay. So it registers all of this and then does this. Okay. I would like to see all of my data there like this. But instead of this, we would have to keep it like this. Anyway. Just a second, guys. I'm trying to deal with something. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so yeah, done with this config part. Mm, so you have to make this as data class. So let's just do that. Okay, import. From data class import data class field. Do we need field here? No, we don't. Class colors. Let's say color types. Much better. And let's get in this. Let's put the date last here. Also with frozen equals true because we don't want to edit this in any case. Okay. Everywhere we have, let's record this. So Q A Q1, put this, then table and okay. Oh, we have 3 ends. Wow. Yeah, color has 3 ends always. I'm feeling sleepy, that's why. Okay. Also, I have a repeated color here. This should be clear, this should be debug. There should be no texture, there should be white, and there should be black. Okay. Much better. We should do the same thing here as well. I don't know why my formatter is not working. We should handle this by itself. So that I don't have to do this by myself. Let's just keep it at this for now. So we have all of these color types. And then we can use the color types here. Should we create the settings here? And the color types here. From import settings and from color types, import color types, and I should go here and name this as color types dot py and rename this as settings dot py, just so that we name them nicely. Then we can access it here. Okay, we can go there. Okay, this is import from color types. Import this. Or should we actually go ahead and do this, or should we put it in globals? I feel that we should probably put this in globals itself. Right? Hmm. Since you're already using data classes, pass context instead of globals. From data classes, import data class, import by game, data class, frame context, delta time, events, and then do this. dt is equals to clock.tick, and then ct is equals to frame context, dt comma events. But the thing is, for this, that we create frame context instance everywhere. That is where the answer. Okay, you are not creating this everywhere. You can once per frame. You can create your own frame context. I mean, that's okay. Jira allocation. Come on. And instead of global, I should probably call it game context because this is not a good name. I mean, it says what it does, but then to globals will contain like everything. Then game context sounds like a proper name to put it like, right? So let's rename this to game context by okay, and we're going to import settings. Wait, let's go to game manager first, and when we have this, we're just going to remove it. Then we can go ahead and make this as game context. Import game context, right? And then we can remove this. So this looks much more cleaner than before, which is perfectly awesome, and I really like it. Damn. And then you can paste it here, right? Settings and color types both are here, and by game specific stuff, everything would be just here. Okay, and this should be a data class in itself. So let's import data classes, or I should say from data classes into a data class, and field if I need it, and remove it if I don't. Then we have the class game context, and this is going to be a data class. Okay, and this will contain the time dot lock thing. So this gives an integer. Okay, by the way, This should happen in itself, right? Why am I exposing this? There's no need to expose this variable. Only where we update it. If you want events, you can put here as well. So that's a good place. For now, let's put all of this. Okay. So settings will be its own field, net field, default factory settings, and color types. Color types. And I don't want this to be frozen because I want the delta time to change, right? So that would be as is, and we can just keep this as actually we should not keep this. We're just going to remove it, right? Should I call it Pygame events and put that here? Let's put this like that. Okay. This is much better. Let's go to the game manager, right? And we can for once create a global game context, right? Should I say cell.game context? Cell.game context is equals to game context, and then I can pass in the settings that I want. But actually there's no need to pass settings, right? We are good on our own. Let me see. Pygame.time.log.tech returns milliseconds. So delta time is in float. What? So this should be a float instead. Also, events list is a shared mutable default. That makes sense because it should be mutable, right? Every game context instance will share the same list. That makes sense. I want that. It's non-negotiable in passenger classes. I don't really understand what this is. This does not do what we were thinking. That list is created once when Python loads the class and shared by every instance of that class. Shared by every instance of that class. This is created once when Python loads the class and shared by every. That is correct. It should be like that. Proof dangerous behavior. A.event dot append this. B dot events dot. Okay, B dot events will also have this. Before factory them in new instances period called list to make a fresh list equivalent to this. Instead of self.events is equal to this, we tell the data class generator, which means run list inside init. Mutable default, always use default factor. I don't get it. What field default factor is equal to list actually means. So every time a new instance of game context is created, it will call list to make a fresh list for events. But why do we want to create a new instance for this? Like there should be one in itself. Why create an instance for exactly, we have to just create one instance. That every frame. Exactly. Why not use global instead? You could do this. All those automatic instant does this dependencies. That's it. Single context, split context. Game context. Setting the resources delta time events. So better we play like go to this, right? What is happening? I can't use anything. Visual mode. Okay, it's working now. Field. What was that? Default factory again. Default factory is list. So whenever I create a new context, a new game context, this should be created as new. But we aren't gonna create a new game context in any sense. So how can I make the game context singleton? Private class instance plus get. What? This is crazy. CTS is equal to game context dot get a class method, and then you get a game context from there. CTS is all of this. Makes sense. Module level labels is now what I need. Do. Create one game context and move on. If game context has a normal object, no singleton logic. That's what I thought. Just a second, guys. Okay. Mm, okay, architectural decisions. Should we pass it like everywhere? I don't think we really should. I think we should do something like a plugin. GTH's game context or none equals none. Mm, hidden init audio is prevented. Multiple instances is prevented. Import time creation avoided. Easy refactor right over this. Hmm. You can do something like this, but this is exactly the singleton pattern. If we call ctx, ctx is none, so underscore ctx, where is runtime error, so is separated, yes. What? Hmm. Crazy. Edit out the file from future import annotations, and then we can do this. No course needed as a recommend approach. That's nice. So what it is saying is that we should probably make it somewhat like a singleton, and that's what I thought as well. That's what I would like to do as well, like from my initial understanding of system design. So what it's saying is that let's go to game context. Okay, here we are. Then we create ctx, which is the context. So I'm going to call it game ctx. Let's just call it game context like this, okay? And we will make this as game context or none, okay? And this is equal to none for now, okay? So in our head, this is going to be inside this translation unit, okay? So underscore game context should be internalized here, but it's just a convention. So what people used to do before 3.10 is this. Okay, so that we can, and so that a linter would go ahead and use this as type annotations, but in the future versions of Python there is literally a library called future, and then we can import annotations from there. And then we can do some crazy wild stuff. So let's keep it at there for now. Okay, it has one error, we'll see that later. First of all, let's create something like this. So def init game context. Okay, and this will return game context. Okay, then we can make this game context as global so that we can access it here. So if game context is none, if it is not none, then we can raise a runtime error stating that the game context is already initialized. Okay, and then game context equals to game context if this is not the case. Okay, and then we are going to return the game context. Okay, so that's the thing. Then another thing is this get game context. Okay, and this is going to be returning the game context as well. So this is going to be a global game context. No, wait. So if underscore game context is none, then we raise the error. Game context is not initialized. Okay, else you're going to return the game context. It's somewhat like this. Then we can go ahead and create our game context and set all of its values. So in our GM manager, when we create a game context, we have already created this. So there is no need of writing this thing, right? Because if we go ahead and create this game context, then we already have it. Then we have this to get the game context. So that context is equal to game context will already create this. Populate this. Then okay, I'm getting some idea finally. Then we can go ahead and say This is pretty big. Game context dot settings dot game dot win title. I mean, bruh, so big. And then we can get rid of this thing entirely, and maybe put this thing in the events. So what we're doing with this game context self dot game context dot events. And self dot game context dot events equals to pygame dot event dot get is what we're supposed to do. I have my concerns. Self dot game context dot okay, so it's sorry tabs dot layer, so we get that. Okay. Shell.game context.events is equals to pygame.event.get delta time something like this. I forgot the function, but was it pygame.log time.log? So you have to first create this and then fill in the delta time. In any case, it should be tied to this update loop itself. So we update the data here, right? And then for all of this, we have the update functions here. So this will go right in the beginning. I think there should be something different for time. Hmm. I don't want to create lock and all of that stuff here. Like if I create a clock here, that's one more variable, and we have to manage that inside the game manager. But I think we should manage this as well. So here itself we can do something like this. You can do time dot lock, and that's clock created, and then we can do clock dot tick and get the delta time. Mm, dot game dot max frame rate. Something like this. Mm, Should I add a display surface? So that I can get it directly. I'll have a bunch of errors right now, but we'll solve it later because I'm tired. I can't even think properly. But I think we have made significant progress, right? Because you're trying to separate things out. You're trying to do something, and it's hopefully turning out well. So I think we can continue next time. I am not getting much time to develop this project because I have much more different stuff to do. But I like doing this, and I probably will do this more often in the future. So if time permits, I'll surely go ahead with this project because I still haven't explained this project in depth. It's going to be really cool, and it's something relatively new in the game development field. That is what I'm thinking. Like, it's a new game mechanic, so probably something which people would look out for. That's why I'm trying to continue this project and also in the stream, right? So hopefully we'll meet